Week one, it's good to get a win, and winning never gets old, and got to enjoy them all. So we did that, and it was good to see the guys get go on the road and get a victory. I know it's been well documented. It's been 12 games since we had went on the road and got a win. So it was big for our team, big for our program to go down there and do that. Those are the expectations, and we expect to go get more road victories in the future. But it was good to get the first one. I thought we played a good. After going back and watching the film, I think that we did a good job. I mean, we did what we had to do to win the football game. I thought that we were led by our defense. Anytime that you can create 3 turnovers on defense, 1 on special teams, and keep a team under 300 yards of total offense, you'd hope that you can go and get a victory. I thought our offense did what they had to do to win. I thought that was really the game plan, to kind of slow it down and give our play well on defense and play well on special teams, not turn the ball over. We turned it over twice. There's a lot of things that we can get better at, but we ran the ball good enough to set up some play action passes and a few explosive plays. Some things that we can get better at. They challenged us. It was tough to run the ball in there. We ran it against some tough boxes, and it's tough sledding when there's 8-9 guys in there. But we committed to doing it, and then in the fourth quarter, I thought we took the air out of the ball. I thought on special teams we were good in some phases and not good in a few others. I thought our kickoff teams got to be better. We let them have a short field several times, but I thought our punt team really was a big part of us winning the football game. Not only Lane hitting it starts with Lane. It starts with our protection and then Lane, but then guys like Matt DeSomer, who got our Be a Man Player of the Week this week. I thought, Matt was a huge part in that game. We have game-winning plays, and he had 2 of them, a tackle on punt, and then to be able to pop the ball loose on that on the long punt that they fumbled. If it's not him hustling and being the first guy down there, and then he kind of pops it back to Ryan Neal. He only played on special teams. As a guy that's played a lot on offense. He's on defense now, but you saw him in the first game on offense. He's a guy that doesn't come in and complain. He just accepts his role, and whatever the team needs him that specific week to do, he does it. He's big for our program. So, and then I thought on kickoff return, DJ Davis really set the tone and gave us a lot of short fields ourselves on offense. So, the first week we played a lot of players. Got to build some depth and see some things, but SEMO really challenged us in some areas that'll be good for us to learn from and hopefully improve from week 2 to week 3, and we look to do that. We're looking forward to a great week of preparation. Moving on to Memphis, we got an awesome opportunity to go on the road and play a top team in the country, really a top 25 team. I don't know if they're ranked in the top 25. But that's what type of program that Coach Norvell is building, and the type of players that we're going to go play against. So we've got our work cut out for us. It's a talented football team across the board. The way that they've recruited, they have talent in really every single position. And then, a quarterback that'll probably be playing on Sundays, super talented, skilled players. They spread the ball out. Coach Norvell's an offensive coach and does a great job of not just in one phase of the game. They're kind of, I've always studied Coach Norvell as somebody that does a great job, because it's just not one phase. They run the football, they throw the football, a lot of run-pass options. And they've got a quarterback that can do that, good in the screen game. So if you're stopping one thing, they can adjust and get to another phase that they're really good at too. So we're going to have to be really good at just slowing them down, trying to make them uncomfortable a little bit. He's going to make his plays, and they've got playmakers. So we're going to have to be sound. We're not going to be able to turn the ball over on the road, just like I'll say every week when we do go on the road and we get into conference play. It's no different this week. So our expectations are to go down there and play well. And, you're not going to get on the bus unless it's the same mentality every single week as we're going down and we're going to prepare this week to go win a football game. And, our guys will look forward to playing in this game. It's a big stage, and we'll talk about the Liberty Bowl and what that stadium and, prior college football, a lot of big-time games, a lot of big-time players have played there in that bowl. And what that means. So it's a good great opportunity for our program.
Speaking of Lane, your punter, I know it's early, but it looks like he's turned it around from last year. He was like second to last or last in the Valley in punting, and now he's averaging about 47 a game. And he looks consistent. Each one is a boomer.
Yeah.
Unless he needs to bring it into the 20-yard line, underneath the 20-yard line somewhere, you know.
Yeah, no, he has, and we just have to consistently keep doing that. You know, it's good through 2 games. He's hit some good balls. Our protection's been good, and then Dan, our true freshman snapper, has done a good job. So we just got to keep operating at a high level on punt. It's maybe the biggest play in football. It dictates the game, and I think he's more confident. He's a freshman last year. First year, get thrown to the fire. We've got a little bit different punt formation and protection. I think has helped him out, and he's just a year more confident. He went through his ups and downs last year, but we've definitely talked about that as a team since spring ball all the way through the summer and then training camp. Is you're not going to win many football games if at the end of the year you look back and you're last in net punting. It just sets up the other team. It's just not good football. So we had to get better at that. We addressed that, and through 2 games we're better, but it's just going to get more difficult. Explosive returners, and we're going to have to keep protecting, and he's going to have to consistently keep hitting good balls.
Is Pollard a guy you don't even want to kick to? You want to try to kick it out of bounds?
I don't know about kick it out of bounds. We feel good with our cover units. Lane has to do a good job. What he has is placing the ball where we don't have to defend the entire field. You give a guy, you hit it in the middle of the field, and he's got the whole field to work with. I don't want to hit it to him there. But if we can pin him where we can cover a quarter of the field, that's really with all returners. That throughout the entire year, we're going to see guys that are talented in our league that, they're probably back there because they're the best out of the 105 guys that they've got. So it's a pretty good athlete that you see each and every week back there. So Lane's got to do a good job of pinning, and we got to do a good job of covering.
What about Darrell James had a pretty big game on Saturday, and what do you hope for him to continue?
Just keep being consistent. He's been consistent through spring ball, through the summer, and through training camp. So this is just the result of him coming out each and every day. I don't think he's had really a bad practice really since camp started. He comes out, and if you come to practice, our practices are open, and you see him running full-speed routes, and that's what happens when you get on the same page as a quarterback. And so he did some good things in week 1. It was a little bit, he had a few targets, but I just keep being consistent. Whatever the game plan calls for, all of our guys have to be ready. The best thing that, over the past couple of years, we've had 4 or 5 guys with multiple catches. In one game you'll have 100 yards, and the next game somebody else has to step up, and it's still like that. But Darrell's consistently been really good for us, and he's a big, strong kid. He's good in the run game, and he's good at blocking, and that's how you get on the field and you stay on the field.
DJ almost had a long run in the second half. Just what do you look at to spring your run game?
Yeah, we didn't really have an explosive run, which we've got to get better at, and something that's been addressed, and it's good for our offensive line to see that, really we just have to finish. We got to finish blocks, and we got to finish runs. And those 3-4 yard gains got to become 11, 12, and then you like to hit one if you rush the ball 38 times to spring a big one in there. DJ can do that. He was close on a couple, but close isn't going to get it. So nothing really that DJ did. I mean, they tackled well, and he was close on a couple, but we've got to get more explosive in the run game. Some of that may be a little bit of scheme. We're not going to change up our scheme, but just trying to get our guys in a little bit better. There wasn't a lot of space out there. We didn't really spread them out. Everybody was down in the box. So you break one tackle, and there's somebody else right there that's going to be there. So creating a little space for DJ, but just consistently in the run game, creating some explosives.
When you watch them on defense, is this the most multiple team you'll see all year?
Well, I haven't seen the rest of the league. If it compared to last year, yeah, there are multiple. Some odd fronts with the four eyes, which we've seen here in the past. As a coordinator, and our old defense was similar to that. So we have some experience, and we'll see that in our league too. And a lot of teams, including us, will come in and create an odd front and then be in an even front. But they do a lot of different things. They can jump in and out of different fronts. Some different coverages, and then they've got a talented back end where, they'll place cover one, and they'll just mix things up. They'll pressure. They pressured UCLA, and so yeah, they're going to be multiple. We're going to have to be prepared for a lot of things. But as you go through our league, they prepare you. So we've seen a lot of things from our defense, and going back to last year. So you just got to dive into the film and see every look that you think that you're going to get, be ready for something that you haven't seen yet, and then just go out and execute.
Sam hit on a couple long passes. Just when you look at his film, what he has to do to be more efficient?
Yeah, I thought, like I said, we did what we had to do early in the game, and we set some things up with the run game, but he's got to be more efficient, being more efficient on third down. Really, I thought we missed on 4 third downs in the second half that really would have allowed us to have some more explosive plays that were probably there that we just missed. Some fourth down throws, the pick that we threw, setting the protection the wrong way, allowed him to get some pressure. The ball gets tipped in the air. It's just some little things that we've got to be sharper at, and that's what when we talk about everybody, it's they probably overused is where the coaches you get better from week 1 to week 2. Sam played a quarter and a half in week 1, so he was put in some different situations where you'd like to see him grow from that and get better from this week to week 3, and then continue to get better. But some things, yeah, that in the second half I thought we could have been more efficient in some things, and he knows that, and he's got to dive into the film and get better.
Your secondary's made a couple big plays in the past 2 weeks. Do you attribute that more to them or your pass rush?
A little bit of both. More experience back there. We've talked about that. They'll be challenged this week, and anytime you can create some turnovers, we've talked. We're not really big into how many yards we're giving up, but creating some takeaways and being disruptive, getting pressure on the quarterback always helps. When you look back at our turnovers, a couple have been because of pressures. But a couple of the sacks that we've had are coverage sacks as well, where we've covered down and there's really not a place to go with the ball. So each week creates something different, though. That was SEMO, now it's Memphis, and Coach Norvell is great at diving into the game plan and creating your own game plan. We'll see things that we haven't seen because he saw something that we did against SEMO, and they'll put in a little wrinkle for us. So we have to just be sound in our technique and see it and get lined up, get the call, and rule things out. If it's something that we haven't seen, is just playing in your base defense and your base rules to be able to rule it out. And then trust. A lot of times it comes down in the secondary is playing man-to-man defense at some point, whether in quarters it ends up being some type of man or you're playing cover one. So you have to accept the challenge, and they've got some good receivers, and they got a quarterback that can throw the football. He can extend plays. He's a good athlete. So sometimes you got to cover for a little while, and so it'll be a challenge.
They do a really good job of misdirection. They'll run the side to the left, and they'll throw the screen to the other. But,
Mm-hmm.
Staying home on defense, how much do you think your experience will help that being in the second year of this system?
Yeah, they create a lot of getting guys in space, whether it's screen game and testing your eyes and where you're supposed to be, and that's what this game and that offense does. You look up and down the scores of their games. They're usually high scoring. They can put up some points against some really good teams. So that's what you try to do as an offensive coordinator. You're gonna set things up and try to get your best guys the ball, and they do a good job of that, of like I talked about, screen game, run game, throw game, run pass option game. They've got a little bit of everything. So just being sound in our technique and understanding the defense that's called and running it and executing it.
Did Seymour get hurt the first part of the game? Is that the reason he had to go get x-rays?
Yeah, he broke his hand in the first quarter, so he'll still be playing. He'll have a.
He was playing the latter part of the game.
Yeah, he came back and played the second half after they casted it up.
Do you think he's gonna start? Do you think he'll play?
Yeah, no, he'll play. It's a small cast on his hand that he can play with. They'll wrap it up and pad it up, and then probably 2 weeks in that, and then it'll turn into a soft cast. It's a small bone in his hand. But yeah, it's a. He was gone for most of the first half.
What can you tell us about Ernest Dye and Skinner playing this week?
Both are probably out. Just with Sam is, his spleen. He feels good. He's at the game at SEMO and he's on the sideline. He's actually gained a little weight. Besides, you worry about losing weight when you have mono, and so he's doing good. It's just you got to listen to the doctors, and it's nothing. Especially as a true freshman, we'll put him out there whenever they say they feel comfortable. So it'll probably be Northern Iowa for Skinner, and it'll probably be Northern Iowa for from Ernest as well. He's walking around here, no crutches, and he'll begin doing a lot of things this week in the training room and then out there on the field. But to say that he'll probably be ready for Saturday, that's probably a long shot.
Skinner hasn't been cleared to practice yet.
Yeah, he'll start doing some stuff tomorrow, but it's still Thursday will be a big doctor's appointment for him. But to be, like I said, ready to go out there on Saturday when you don't know, and then getting full speed reps, and he hasn't played yet. So we want to set him up for success as well. That'll be a tough. So we'll find out this week, but it'll probably be Northern Iowa for Skinner.
And Burner can play, correct?
Yeah, because he was, it's a 2-half rule. So Burner will be back. Should be fresh. He only played in 3 plays.
Playing up, you think your depth is going to be tested?
Anytime you go and play in these games, that's what everybody talks about is your depth is definitely, they have more scholarship football players, more, they get 85, we get 63. So you talk about the, late in the half, and they're rolling out fresh players that can play. But we feel good with our depth, and we've played in these games before. We've won them before here, and so you just have to go and compete for 4 quarters and know that you're just going to go play in football in the Liberty Bowl and execute a game plan. We talk about have fun, but winning is fun. So we want to execute at a high level, and that's the expectations for this team when they come in tomorrow after the coaches. Today's their day off, and we'll go at this game just like we do the rest of the games, is to go execute at a high level. And if we don't do that, then that's not what we're setting out to do. It's not, hey, this is our FBS game, let's go have fun. All of our families are going to go down there. We're going to Memphis. That's for the families and for the fans, and I'm excited to go down there. We have a ton of alumni from Memphis. It's not that far of a trip for us, and these are exciting games for our alumni and our past players. I know I've got a lot of teammates that were from Memphis, and that'll be at the game, and they're meeting us there for the walkthrough, and excited that we're coming. And so that's what these games are fun for, and that's what you come here for, to play in big games and test yourself against some of the best in the country. So the team that was just playing on ABC and got a win against a top 25 team and maybe the first pick in the draft with Rosen. So now you get to go out there and do it and see where you stand.
You mentioned Ryan Neal's leadership, Shan's leadership. Just what have you seen from Neal? Last year he started so long, and Shan kind of took his spot, but he's really played well this year.
Yeah, and we've talked about that. We've talked about it a lot as a team. Is just someone, and that's where you want to get at with your program. No one's spot is safe. You earn it every single day. That's the expectation for tomorrow, is to come out, and I should see our best practice that we've had. And individually, you push yourself to be at the best. And when we get to that point with all of our players, then that's when your program can take off. And Ryan Neal was like that. She started a lot of games here, and he's kind of like DeSomer, how I talked about, is never complain, just you know, started really playing his best football at the end of the year. He still played a lot, but wasn't starting. And then, you know, we're playing them both now, one at Free, one at Strong. And Ryan was, you know, I was happy to see him get the Missouri Valley Conference Defensive Player of the Week. And as a senior that's played a lot here and has bought into the program, is totally committed to his teammates, and just a great leader for us. And the same thing with Chin. Even though he really only played 7 games last year, the way he studies, I just saw him in the hallway here, and he's already got a notebook full of notes and what he's seen. And, you know, he's wise beyond his years. He really is. He's a true sophomore that's played, 9 games now. But when you see that, you see him play, he's just so attention to detail, and it really bothers him when he doesn't get something right, or he was late on a call, or didn't see a tackle over, or a you know, unbalanced formation and getting people lined up. That bothers him, and that's when you're a special player, and I feel like Jeremy's that.
Are we blitzing a little bit more than we did last year, or is it just my imagination?
No, we probably have brought some more pressures. You know,
The coach from SEMO said that he thought most of the blitzes were through the middle, kind of a delayed blitz type thing, instead not from the edge as much.
yeah, I mean, we've got, you know, different pressure packages in each week. It's kind of the same thing as you just don't roll out there and call an offense or a defense just off the top of your head. You know, you study their tendencies and their formations and what their players do the best, and then you put a game plan together on what fits, what you think's going to attack them the most. You know, we probably are more aggressive this year. That comes with a little bit of trust too, with your players, and older and in the scheme. You know, when you blitz a lot, everybody has to be on the same page. You know, you bring, you know, 5, 6 guys. That usually means you're in some type of man-to-man defense, and you have to try to disguise it and then see it. So it's riskier. But if you're not in the right spot, or you're not gap sound when you do blitz, then you give up big plays. So some people like to play soft and keep it all in front, and so you got to mix it up and that's what everybody knows that, and everybody does that.
Who subbed for Burner when he got thrown out of the game?
Chucky came in first. Chucky Sullivan.
Did he do a very good?
Yeah, he did a good job, and really I thought he, you know, going back and watch the film, forced a fumble. They called it. They said that forward progress was stopped, but the ball's out on that, and which is, you know, he's coming from the middle of the field, and that play was over on the sideline. It's good to see. I mean, Chucky's raw, and but when you watch him now, he's 110% all the time, and sometimes that gets him in trouble. But that you'd rather have it that way than the other way, as far as coaching him to fly around. And as he grows, he'll start to get that, you know, the understanding the game. But he flies around and he plays hard, and he's fun to have on the team. And just being a true freshman, excited about Chucky. And then we played, you know, Kamal March came in there, especially when they were down and they were in some throwing situation, got a big sack for us,
Right.
playing hard. And so Javon Webster got in there for a few snaps, and then Jake Summers got in there for a few
Javon
snaps.
Webster, that's what I
Yeah,
was thinking.
so,
Yeah.
you know, we played 3 or 4 guys in there when Burner was out. Good? All right, appreciate it.